Welcome back to Hot Mom's Dinner Club. Today we have bin 6 coming at you. I've got for meal 1 roasted pork, and we're going to serve that with whipped sweet potatoes, coleslaw, and corn muffins. Then we're going to go to meal 2, and that's going to be tuna noodle casserole. The casserole is going to be coming with French bread and just a quick salad. Meal 3, we're going to take some of that roasted pork, we're going to turn it into barbecue pork, and we're going to make BBQ pork sandwiches, and we're going to have those with coleslaw and tater tots. And then meal 4 is good old spaghetti and meat sauce. Spaghetti and meat sauce with cheesy bread and salad as well. All right, so, let's start cooking. We're going to start with our roast pork meal. Now these meals, the pork butt is going to take approximately 6 hours to cook. So you need to make sure you have time to cook that. So you probably want to cook that the day before, on the weekend, put it in the crock pot in the morning before you go to work that day. Or you may have to rearrange these meals, do the tuna noodle casserole first if you haven't had a chance to cook the pork. So however you need to make it work. Right now we're going to start with roasting our pork butt. And then we're going to get that in the oven. And then we're going to make our sides for meal 1. Alright, so we're going to get started on meal 1. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by searing our butt off. Our pork butt, that is. Now I've got my pan getting smoking hot here, and I'm going to sprinkle some of this barbecue rub on it. I've got barbecue rub, kosher salt, and brown sugar. I'm just going to sprinkle this on all my sides. All right, when we get that all rubbed down, we're going to place it into our hot pan. We're going to do it the skin side, the fat side, down, okay? You want to do it fat side down. That'll actually lubricate your pan for you by, giving your grease to the pan. Also, whenever you go to bake it now, it'll be fat side up, okay? So we can brown it fat side down first, but when we go to bake it, you're gonna want fat side up. That way all your juices will run off and it will coat it as it bakes. We're gonna just brown this on all the sides, all your exterior edges here. Okay, so we have our pork butt seared off on all sides. Now we're just going to add our homemade stock in here. If you don't have homemade stock, you can just add regular canned chicken broth, or you can even just cover it with water. But you need to season up whatever you add for liquid into here. You want to make sure that your whole top is covered. Now remember I mentioned roasting it the fat side up. So you get your fat in there, and then we're just going to sprinkle a little bit more of that seasoning on there. I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and then I'm going to pop it down in the oven. So when your pork is getting close to done, you'll want to prepare the rest of the sides for this meal. We're going to do some whipped sweet potatoes, coleslaw, and some corn muffins. All right, so I've got my sweet potatoes here. I just washed them real good, peeled them. I do peel my sweet potatoes. And then I just diced them up, covered them with some cold water. I'm going to get those on to boil. All right, next we're going to make our cornbread muffins. You could just buy any box or bag of mix that you would like. Just make it according to the package directions. And then we're going to lay out cupcake liners if you have them. If you don't worry about it. You can just make them without the liners. We'll do a little spray. We're going to fill them up 2/3 of the way full and pop those in the oven. So now we're going to start on our coleslaw. I've got some red onions here already cleaned up. I'm just going to puree those up a little bit. Add a little bit of our red wine vinegar in there. And the sugar. Put our mayonnaise in there. And then we want to buzz this until it's pureed throughout so you don't have big bites of onion in there. Right, there you have quick and easy coleslaw. This will wilt down a little bit as it sits and become a little bit creamier. So we have our coleslaw here. I've got some in here for meal 1, and I'm going to make sure I reserve some of it for meal 3 for our barbecue pork sandwiches. So our pork has come out of the oven, and so now we're just going to start pulling it. Remember, we have some for meal 1, we have some for meal 3, and whatever you don't use out of it, you can just hang on to for another occasion. You can use it this week, or you can pop it in the freezer and use it later on, bring it out another time and make another batch of barbecue pork for a picnic or something. You want to leave some of the fat in there if you want, you can. If not, take all the fat out. But there you have the roasted pork. Next, I'm going to whip up my sweet potatoes. I cooked those all the way through. I've strained them. You can add in some half and half. If you don't have any half and half left over, you could just add in regular milk. Some salt and pepper. Nutmeg and butter. If you don't have nutmeg, don't worry about it. If you have cinnamon, that would be fine too. If not, the butter, the salt, pepper, and the cream or milk will be just fine. And there's meal 1. You have your roasted pork with your whipped sweet potatoes, your cornbread muffin, and your coleslaw. So now we're going to start on meal 2, the tuna noodle casserole. I've already started cooking my noodles. I'm going to get all my ingredients for that. I'm going to make the tuna noodle casserole. All right, so here I have the noodles that I pre-cooked, egg noodles in water with salt, pepper, and oil. I've got our pre-strained tuna. Got as much juice out of that as possible. Got our sauce. I just used a pre-made Alfredo sauce. And I've got some peas left over from bin 2. We had some frozen peas that we still had in our freezer. And then we're just going to top it with cheese and breadcrumbs. Now that's going to go in the oven. So while our casserole is baking, we're going to go ahead and cut our bread to get it toasting. You can cut this on a bias if you'd like longer pieces, or you can cut it straight. I think I'm actually just going to do my straight. Hang on to this for another use. We've got 4 pieces here for the tuna noodle casserole and 4 pieces here for the spaghetti night. I'm just going to rub some butter on the ones here for this evening for the tuna noodle casserole. And then I'm going to sprinkle some dill and some celery seed on them. You can put whatever you have handy on yours. So these will go into the oven to bake. And then we're going to whip up a quick salad. I've just got iceberg lettuce, tomatoes, and baby carrots on this one. I'll tell you what, that does not look bad for tuna noodle casserole. So this is meal 2, bin 6. Tuna noodle casserole. We've got our toasted bread here and a quick salad. Okay, so now we're working on meal 3. This is for our barbecue pork sandwiches. I purchased a ciabatta roll. You can do any kind of bread that you'd like. Onion buns might be nice with the barbecue, with the pulled pork. Just a regular brioche or hamburger bun even if you would like. But I like these ciabatta rolls, so I bought those. Just going to butter these up real quick and toast them in the oven. The ciabatta rolls just came out of the oven, so we're going to sprinkle a little bit of cheese, and then we're just going to pop them back in the oven real quick to melt. And then we'll finish assembling the rest of the sandwich. While the cheese is melting on the rolls, we're just going to get our tater tots cooking in the deep fryer. All right, so our cheese is slightly melted on that. We're going to assemble our barbecue pork sandwiches here. We'll put a little bit of the pork on there. We're going to put the coleslaw right on the sandwich. If you don't want to, you can put it on the side. but it's really good right on the sandwich. Now that is a sandwich. We're gonna put one of those on a plate, serve it up with some of our tater tots. And you just put a little bit of coleslaw on the side there too if you like. There you go, meal 3, barbecue pulled pork sandwiches with tater tots and coleslaw. So now we're gonna start on meal 4. That's our spaghetti and meat sauce. Everybody, so to make our spaghetti and meat sauce, we're just gonna cook off our spaghetti here, oil, salted water, and then we got our ground beef. It's browning over here. I probably don't need to tell any of you how to make spaghetti and meat sauce, but I'm just gonna season up this ground beef with a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm also gonna put in some Italian seasoning in that. So our spaghetti and meat sauce is almost done, so I'm just going to work on the bread here. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of the olive oil around here on the bread. These I'm going to top with some more of the mozzarella cheese. I've also got a little bit of Italian seasoning and a little Parmesan. That'll go in and come out right about the time the spaghetti's ready. Also, you can just whip up another quick salad to go with this meal. All right, so meal 4, spaghetti and meat sauce. To finish this up, we're just gonna lightly coat this with some olive oil. We load up our noodles in there, sprinkle them with a little parsley. We finished up our meat sauce by just simmering it for a while. I topped that with the Parmesan and the Italian seasoning as well. Just dump these right in there. A little sprinkle of that. Some Parmesan cheese if you like. We have our spaghetti, our meat sauce, our salad, and our cheesy bread. Awesome. All right, so thanks for joining me for Bin 6, Hot Mom's Dinner Club. We started our meals with our roast pork dinner, served with whipped sweet potatoes, corn muffins, and coleslaw. We made pork for both meal 1 and meal 3, and coleslaw for both meal 1 and meal 3. Meal 2 was our tuna noodle casserole that we served with a salad and then the French bread. Meal 3 were our barbecue pulled pork sandwiches with tater tots and coleslaw. And then meal 4 was spaghetti and meat sauce with salad as well and cheesy bread. So that's some awesome food there. Bin 6, Hot Mom's Dinner Club. Thank you for joining me.